Yes, sir.
Michael Jackson had died and you were done doing what you needed to do there. Where did you go next?
Well, we loaded into the blue Escalades.
Well, who's we?
Myself and security personnel who came with us.
Can you tell me who that was?
All right. I know Fahim and Alberto for sure. The other gentleman, I'll be guessing.
And where were you heading? What was your plan when you left the hospital?
Our plan was just to drive and just to be a decoy, to make sure the family and the children got safe and no one really tailed them. We made a right onto, I can't think of what street we made a right on, but right after the hospital we made a right. And not too soon after, I got a phone call, maybe a few minutes, to say it was a detective saying come to the Carewood property.
All right, and when you say we, who was in the car with you when you did this?
I remember Fahim and Alberto.
Anybody else?
I don't remember everyone's name.
Now, when you made your statement to police on August 31st, 2000, 2 months after Michael Jackson's death, did you make your statement with Alberto Alvarez and Fahim Muhammad?
Objection made.
Well,
Sustained. Refine, please.
Well, where were you when you made your statement?
Objection relevant. Where were you?
Well, I'm trying to work around.
No, I can just ask a proper question. I think you can ask a different question. An office, a supermarket, at home, on the street. Was it one of those kind of locations?
Yes, sir. It was in an office.
An office. Was it the police office?
No, sir.
And in the same office was Alberto Alvarez there?
Objection made. Meaning at the time of the interview?
I think that's what it asks. Is that what you meant?
Yes.
No, no, sir.
Where was Alberto Alvarez when you were interviewed by police?
Objection relevant.
How old were the objection? Do you know?
No, sir, I don't know.
Did you go to this office with Alberto Alvarez?
Were we there at the same time?
Yes.
That's possible. That's possible.
Why is it possible?
Because I believe he had his meeting there at the same office,
And
separately.
And what about Fahim Muhammad?
It's the same.
Same day.
I'm not sure what day, but it's possible that we crossed paths. We had several meetings in that office.
Possible?
Yeah, I don't remember.
It happens. I mean,
2 years ago. I don't remember.
prior to having this discussion with police on August 31st, did you have occasion to speak about the events of June 25th with Fahim Muhammad?
Did I have occasion? Yes, sir. That day, a few days after.
How about weeks after? How about months after?
Well, we actually reached out to authorities.
Well,
the only reason it was held on August 31st is because it was postponed. That's when we actually had the meeting. That's when I met with detectives, but I was trying to get detectives a lot sooner than that.
Oh, that's interesting, but what I want to know is, did you speak?
Just a moment. Editorial comments are not appropriate for either party. So
Did you-
jurors disregard any kind of comments. And remember, questions are not evidence. Only the answers are evidence. Thank you.
Did you speak to Fahim Muhammad about the events on June 25th prior to talking to the police?
Yes, sir.
And did you speak to the events that happened on June 25th with Alberto Alvarez prior to talking to police?
Yes, sir.
At any point, did the three of you speak together?
Not in person, except that day, June 25th.
What do you mean not in person?
We didn't all sit and have a meeting, the three of us, at the same place in the same location, sir.
Well, I didn't ask about it. I'm not asking you about a meeting. Make sure
Well, I said in person. When you asked why in person, I'm telling you we weren't all three there physically.
Well, did you make phone calls to each other?
It's possible. I don't remember a certain time where we have.
But it's possible.
It's possible.
When we saw the video of the phone, the iPhone, that was shown to us, did you make that video?
Yes, sir.
When did you make that video?
I don't recall. After the detectives told me to hold on to every evidence and to take pictures of the, they knew Dr. Murray had called me, take pictures of it, do whatever you can to save it. I just decided just to video it, just to show I had it.
Well, did you take the video before you spoke to police officers? On August 31st?
Oh, yes, sir.
Did you take that video before August 31st, 2009?
To the best of my knowledge, yes, sir.
All right. And who, obviously somebody helped you take that video, right? Did
Yes,
somebody
sir.
help you make
Ye-
that video?
Yes, sir.
Who was it that helped you?
It wasn't Fahim or Alberto.
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah.
Who was it that helped you?
Objection relevant.
Overruled. You may answer.
My wife. She held the camera while I put it on my phone in my home.
And did you provide that video to police when they came to talk to you August 31st, 2009?
I believe so.
Now, what did you, or
I think I turned everything in. I mean, I should have. They
well,
could
what
have
else
it.
would you have turned in besides the video?
I went, sat, and gave my statement, and I believe I turned it in the pictures, or emailed it, or something. Or I think so.
You said that the reason you saved that voicemail is because the detectives told you to keep everything important.
Objection, this states the testimony is a detective.
Sustained.
All right, well, who told you to keep everything important?
I believe the detectives.
Okay. And the only thing that you found to be important was that voicemail?
And the truth, the story. The reason I contacted them, I wanted them to know that.
During that evening, did you receive other voicemails?
Of June 25th, 2009?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sure I got plenty.
Did you receive some from Alberta?
No, I don't remember.
What
I was
about-
getting called from everybody. Friends, associates, business people.
Did you receive any voicemails from Fahim Muhammad?
I wouldn't remember, sir.
You
It's
would-
possible.
You don't remember? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it's possible. I don't remember.
We noticed on the video that there were no voicemails on there at all, except for Dr. Murray's.
Yeah, because if detectives were going to see it, I didn't want them seeing a bunch of random, irrelevant numbers.
So you erased everything else.
Yes, sir. I had to clear my voicemail that day. I got calls from everybody.
So did you show your phone when they came to talk to you? Or
don't
just the video?
Don't remember.
Let's talk about your relationship with Michael. You had been his personal assistant for 2 years, essentially?
Yes, sir.
And as his personal assistant, you did whatever he asked you to do, essentially.
Yes, sir, for the most part.
If he wanted you to make phone calls, you made phone calls.
Yes, sir.
And if he wanted you to pick things up for him, you picked things up for him.
Yes, sir.
There's really nothing that he could ask you to do that you wouldn't do.
He knew what kind of person I was, and he knew what to ask me. I wouldn't, do something illegal, and he knew that.
Okay. But other than illegal, you do whatever he asks you to
anything.
do.
He wouldn't ask me to do anything illegal, so anything he asked me, of course, I would do it.
Okay. And were you also, did you also start, Mr. Williams, as sort of a conduit for people who wanted to get in touch with Michael Jackson? Sort of an agent in case they wanted to get in touch with Michael Jackson? They would call you?
For the most part, he had his own personal cell phone, which family and close friends had, which I had nothing to do with. But if he didn't want someone to have his number, or someone didn't have his new number, then they would call me, and I would relay the message.
And oftentimes people from AEG would call you, for instance?
Yeah, they had his number, and they called him sometimes, but it wasn't unnormal at all for me to get a call from someone.
Okay. And then you would hook him up with Michael Jackson?
Sometimes I'd be right by him, give him the phone. Or
Okay. One of the things that you did as an assistant was to pick up prescriptions for Michael Jackson,
Yes, sir.
but not in your name.
In Michael Jackson's name.
Right.
And Blanket and
Right.
Paris and Prince's
Right,
name.
right. No,
Correct.
but you would pick up those prescriptions.
Myself or security.
And also one of the things you do is you would accompany Michael Jackson for he would go,
Yes, sir.
like, for instance, doctor's offices.
For the most part, I didn't ever go in them, but I would drive from there and wait outside.
Would you recall at some point going to visit Dr. Arnold Klein with Michael Jackson?
Yes, sir, I do.
And this was a regular occurrence?
At a certain point, it was very regular. Yes, sir.